Guys, today I am going to show you how I created my rain barrel setup. Now, last year, well, let me backtrack. In 2020, I got my first rain barrels and they were the vinyl kind. I've shown these before in a video. They did not last. They collapsed under the weight of the water. I do not recommend those kind. I started with those because they were only like $50 a barrel for a 50-gallon thing, but they did not last. However, I did reuse like the spigot and things like that from those. Whenever I decided to create new barrels, I just took off some of the items that came on those and reused them in my design. So I do want to say some of the items that I used, I created this because I was trying to reuse what I already had. But I also found kits on Amazon that include these. So I will include links to both. That way, if you've got some, maybe you've had some of those collapsible barrels that broke on you like mine did. Maybe you've got some attachments that you need to reuse as well. Or if you don't, then I'll show you the link to that kit that includes these. So with that said, another thing I want to mention that was important to me in my design was I use dig drip irrigation in my garden. And I like to buy my dig supplies in bulk. And that way I have a lot of the attachments and everything on hand. So I already had the 1/2-inch plastic hose that this is like the carrying line. And we're going to do a video soon over our drip irrigation. So I already had this 1/2-inch line and I had bought like a 75-foot roll or something like that. Anyway, I had a bunch of it that I had put up in my attic so that I always had plenty to replace with as we sprung leaks and things like this. But this is the carrying line that I use to run from bed to bed. And then once it's in the bed, well, we'll talk about all of that on the drip video. That's not what you're here for today. Today we're talking about rain barrels. So anyway, I had that already. So my goal was to find a way to use this stuff to attach my barrels and get water from one barrel to the next, right? And knowing that this was 1/2-inch, I knew that I needed things that were 1/2-inch that could attach so that I could attach the attachments. What are the words I'm looking for? Okay, so that I could run these from one barrel to the next and get the water, to transfer over. So some of this stuff we got off of Amazon and some of it we found at Lowe's. And I'll pop up pictures and I'll include links and everything in the description. On this part, let me see here. Yeah, okay, so this piece right here is the same as this. So you can see here that we were able to use our 1/2-inch line and attach it on this. You can just dip this in some hot water. I would just boil it. For me, I always just boiled the water on the stove, dipped this in there for a minute, for a few seconds actually, and then it's nice and soft and flexible, and then you can work it down onto this thing, okay? Then we had these little rubber washers that we bought like a package of. I think we got like a package of 50 of them for $1 or something like that. Anyway, that, and then, so that then becomes this, okay? So these little things, we bought like a 6-pack on Amazon, I want to say, and you can see this has a little rubber washer gasket thingy. So you've got that piece, right, which is this piece, okay? You've got it inside your dig line. And then you take this guy, and he's threaded on the inside and threaded on the outside, and you screw him on right here, okay? Now remember, this is important so that you get a watertight seal so that your rain barrels aren't leaking. We're getting ready to assemble a rain barrel here in just a second, and I'll show you all of that up close and personal. So let me just go over the different pieces again really quick so that you understand. So for a rain barrel, if you're going to have more than one barrel, you've got to have a way to attach to get the water from one barrel to the next, right? So this is what we used for that, so that we could have a watertight seal. Now, these little pieces, you get them in the plumbing department at Lowe's, and I'll do a screenshot of that so that you can look it up in the Lowe's app, and it should tell you in the app exactly what aisle it's on at your local Lowe's and everything. So anyway, those are only $1 or $2 each, okay? So super cheap. This little thing was a 6-pack, and it came with this too, and it's threaded. Anyway, that was less than 15 bucks for a 6-pack, and it gave us all that we needed. And again, these, you've got to have the male and the female. Oh, you also want some, the plumber's tape stuff. You can kind of see, if you've ever done any type of plumbing, you probably already know this, but always run your tape opposite of the way that you're going to screw it. So see, like this thing, see how I'm turning it that way? So when you put your tape on, run it the opposite direction, or else when you go to screw something onto it, it's just going to like eat it up. So you run it opposite of that. When we had a 3-barrel system, the first barrel just needed one to get to the second barrel, but the second barrel needed one on each side, right? So that it could also feed into the third barrel. And then again, if you have multiples after that, and then your final barrel just needs one. So your 2 end barrels just need one each, but anything in the center is going to need 2. And same thing with all of the gadgets. So let me show you and then also we have a hole saw kit, and we kept using different hole saws trying to cut the holes, and nothing was working when we were doing ours. And then finally I just gave in and bought this hole saw kit. At the time it was like 15 bucks for the entire thing, which was worth it because I figured, man, we're probably going to need all these different sizes at some point. So it's just nice to have. So I'm glad that we have it. So let's get into the rest of this now.
Goodness, I see
All
it.
3 of them busted.
Oh gosh, yeah, they did.
I'm so sad.
Oh no.
So sad. Yeah, I thought this one was still good, and then I realized, nope, it's busted over here.
Get a close up of that, because
yeah,
this is what happens when there's a little bit of water and you don't put them away at the end of the year. But luckily, we got those on very good sale.
Yes, we did. I think we paid 14 bucks each for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at least our our
we'll
connection pieces are good.
We'll use the hardware.
Yeah.